So what we are doing in our own tantric practices today, we are Catholicizing Tantra. What do I mean by this is Abrahamic religions viewed nature as a source to be exploited for the humans to fulfill their desires, their needs.
Anthropocentric.
It is completely centered around humans. God created humans, and God created rest of anything other than human. Animals, plants, natural resources for the pleasure of the human.
Bhogya.
Yeah. So, but particularly in tantric philosophy, number one, it is very ecological. It's a nature philosophy, because this is a universal philosophy that it's based on, let's say, panpsychism or pantheism, where every piece of rock is divine, every tree is divine, every river is divine, every mountain top is divine. If you go to Nepal, you will not find a confluence without a small Shiva Linga, no matter how small, the tiny Shiva place. Every mountain top will have the grove for Mother Durga. Nobody shall touch that grove. That is Durga's grove. And there are trees dedicated to particular deities. I'm not talking about conservation of particular rock or particular plant. I'm talking about a philosophical crisis here. Our attitude towards nature, our attitude towards animal, and so we need, for us to have this shifted, we need to have this non-dual or a type of a seamless relationship with the rest of the creation, in which we are not the owner and the enjoyer of the rest of the world, but we have an interrelated relationship in which not just we help them, they help us. How can they help us? So having a sadhana of yakshini under a people tree will generate. So why are they focused on particularly specifying these? And then the number will go infinite, the bilva and the tulsi. And then, but let's not even go towards numbering which is holy, which is not holy, because the idea is to help you see that even in the plants, there is a presence of that same divine. And you need to be concerned as it comes to exploiting the nature. You see? So therefore, our whole attitude, tena tyaktena bhunjitha. Basically, yes, you need to survive. These people who are living in nature, they were using natural resources, but they were absolutely mindful that it is not for them to exploit. So that is the philosophy we lost. What did we gain? The more we are talking about industrialization, what we are talking about is exploitation. Dig it, drill it, pump it. And then if we continue exploiting natural resources, you can talk to the best environmentalist. Humanity has no future beyond 50 years. And it is such a horrific scenario to consider. We need a philosophical change. We need a different type of philosophy to, we can just make some laws and we'll, change the whole thing. We need to change people's attitude. And, that is where politics comes, our social responsibility comes, and then our social influencers have to play the role that we are at the verge of civilizational crisis. And this current exploitation-based philosophy cannot solve our problem. And I'm not saying we have the solution, but we have the alternative perspective that will at least start curing the root of the problem. Root of the problem is our own attitude. The problem as such is what we made it to be. We created these problems. Why did we create these problems? Because we have this attitude. So one thing what happened, I was in Nepal, after I left my home, I was back to that same place after 10 years. And From my house, 10 minutes of a walk up to the mountain is Sthaneshwar. That temple has some 5th century inscriptions of a dedication to Lord Shiva. That's the temple going back to at least 5th century, okay? And then there are like 1,000 inscriptions. And then it was on top of this mountain called Nagarjuna Hills. And then I was so happy when and felt like home, after a decade. When for 2 more minutes, I turned to the other side of the hill. My knees gave up. I collapsed on the ground because what I saw was they had cut down the entire hill from the other side. The whole hill didn't even exist anymore. These miners, all they were doing was gravels and rocks, not even some diamonds and whatever. Not that that would make a difference.
Wouldn't you say that with the hill, the deity is gone?
The whole perspective, I never went back again, because my perception, not just about the God, is everywhere, Lord Shiva for me, but about the people. I don't want to keep cursing them, therefore I just don't want to go there. So look at the level of moral depravity we have. And what is forcing us? Don't we have other substitutes? We could have made a hay bale house. They last as long. They are maybe ecologically more friendly, because for the weather you don't need AC and heater, because if we go to hay bale. So there are so many ecological solutions, but we don't want to try that because there is not as much money to be made.